Breaking news here. We continue to follow this morning. A live look right now in Miami. Former President Donald Trump expected to appear there Tuesday after what his attorney says they were indicted, or rather Trump is being indicted in that classified documents case. This is a historic first for a U.S. former president. The Justice Department expected to make this public, a 7-count indictment with federal charges ahead of his court appearance next week. And again, that is expected to be Tuesday afternoon in Florida, in Miami.
Prosecutors say Trump took about 300 classified documents to Mar-a-Lago after he left the White House. About 100 were seized by the FBI in that raid you remember from last August. Now, Trump is already facing 34 felony counts in an alleged hush money scheme that involved adult film star Stormy Daniels to bury allegations of extramarital affairs. Karoline Leavitt is the spokeswoman for Make America Great Again and a former assistant press secretary in the Trump administration. Joe Pinion is a former Republican nominee for U.S. Senate from New York. Karoline, to you first. Now, we know that this is not President Trump's first run-in in court. The former president tied up in a lot of lawsuits, at least one of which the judge became exasperated with him for speaking about things outside of court. Do you think that it could come back to hurt him, the fact that he was the one who made the announcement about these indictments?
No, absolutely not. Look, let's remember that Joe Biden campaigned as a unifier in chief. He is now acting as a dictator in chief, taking the unprecedented step to use the full weight of the Department of Justice to bury, imprison his political opponent and raid the home of Donald Trump, the former president of the United States. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's family, the revelations just yesterday, not a coincidence, that he and his family were accepting millions of dollars in bribes from foreign nationals. This is third world country stuff. The American people will not stand for this. And rest assured, Donald Trump will fight this case like hell, just like he fought the Russia collusion hoax, impeachment 1, impeachment 2, and the sham January 6th committee, and all of the endless investigations into he and his family's business dealings. He is an innocent man. He will be vindicated, and the American people will send him back to the White House.
Joe, Karoline hit a point that I wanted to talk to you about in terms of politics and how that plays in this. Obviously, these are very serious charges once we actually know what's within the indictment. But again, according to Trump's attorney, Jim Trusty, violations of the Espionage Act, obstruction, conspiracy, some could see prison time if convicted on any of those, or one specifically. But Karoline touched on this. The Oversight Committee was able to view that document, that FD 1023, that has allegations tying former Vice President Biden to a bribery scheme. We saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene come out. She took notes on it. She broke it down, what she saw. Do you make anything of the timing of the Oversight Committee being able to see that in a potential bribery scheme with the Bidens versus what's coming out today? Or is it coincidence?
Look, I don't believe in coincidences, but I will often say that, as they say in the law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And so here is what we know. We know for a fact that Hunter Biden has sent emails saying that they needed to get FaceTime with officials in the White House while his father was vice president, because they needed that FaceTime to release bonds from foreign countries for them to make money. We have the White House logs that say that those meetings actually occurred, even some of the meetings that occurred with Blinken that were then also verified in the emails. So we know for a fact that there is a cloud of corruption hanging over the Biden administration. And if Democrats who banged the table talking about corruption were so interested in rooting out corruption wherever the facts did lead, if they had convened investigations to look into the dealings of then Vice President Biden, whether they believe them to be true or not, then this would be a very different conversation. But they have not done those things. And so as a result, as I said yesterday, two things are now true. That yes, President Trump now has to deal with the indignity of having to be sent before another indictment to try to prove his innocence. The other is he most likely just won the Iowa caucus, because the American people are tired of people banging on the table and claiming that they love this country and our precious institutions while they turn a blind eye to anyone that agrees with them politically, battering those same institutions.
Interesting. There seems to be a lot of double standards here, and I think that it'll really come out during the road to 2024 how much this impacts his campaign, whether it helps to progress it forward because the American public is so fed up. But we know at least the Democrats' goal is to try to distract him. But Karoline, going back to the Trump announcement of these indictments, I want to play for you just some of what he said in that video.
Just like the Russia hoax and all of the others, it's been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years.
Karoline, your thoughts on just some of what the former president said?
God bless him. He's a fighter. He has dealt with more investigations, accusations, and lies than any other president in American history. And I don't believe that any other candidate in this race for the GOP nomination right now would be able to withstand the pressure and the attacks that Donald Trump has from the DC establishment, the swamp, and frankly, both sides of the political aisle over the last several years. All the while, he gave up a very nice lifestyle as a successful businessman to put the American people first, and he is still running a remarkable campaign, leading in the polls in Iowa, New Hampshire, every state across this country, and also releasing over 100 new tangible policy proposals under his Agenda 47 platform, thinking of new ways to save this country from Joe Biden's destruction over the past 4 years. This man deserves, and our country needs, another 4 years of Donald Trump in office. And this is truly going to be the most important election of our lifetime, because we have never seen the weaponization of our great American institutions like we have over the past few years with Joe Biden.
Joe, there has been some on the legal side of things that believe that Jack Smith, the special counsel, is overplaying his hand in terms of the charges. We're waiting. Again, the indictment announcement is out, but from Trump's attorney, not from the DOJ. They have not commented yet, but you see it on your screen, again, according to the New York Times there, and Jim Trusty, of what he could possibly face. But some are saying the special counsel's overplaying his hand. He's not going to be able to these charges won't be able to stick, and that the punishment is the process that former President Donald Trump will have to go through during campaigning. Your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, look, we knew from the beginning, from the first indictment, the drip, 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 all the illegal leaks that have happened for all of these potential cases against President Trump, that the plan was always to try to pin all of these transgressions against every Republican up and down the ballot in 2024. If you're looking at the prosecutor in this case, it is worth noting that this is the same individual that went after John Edwards, who, by the way, beat all of those cases. One charge was actually thrown out, hung on the other 5 counts. So he has a history of leveraging the Department of Justice to bring out cases that are more political than they are factual. I think President Trump, unfortunately, falling victim to that same type of malicious prosecution. So here we are once again, which, as Karoline says, the most prescient and important election of our lifetimes, not just to figure out how we're going to get out of the debt crisis and fix the problems on the border, but really how we're going to preserve the freedoms and liberties that make America the envy of the world.
All right, that's Joe Pinion. Karoline Leavitt joining us live. We appreciate both your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.